Hello guys, this is Bobo here, about to do the next cast for the weekly. And let me turn down this volume here, it's super duper loud. I like to play with my games really loud. So, we're gonna give this a go. Now, I did this already twice, and both times StarCraft has crashed. So we're gonna hope that it doesn't crash this time. And let's get this underway. Okay, 1 second. There we go. Now I'll put that little box on the right just for the sake of you guys not knowing when this game is gonna be over. Oh, look at that. Alright, so today we have Fight once again going up against ROOTBubba actually. And ROOTBubba is actually a Zerg player from the clan Root, obviously. And for those of you that don't follow Root Gaming that much, good players from Root Gaming is Slush, Bubba, and QXC is probably the most notable out of all of them all. But all in all, they are a very good guild. They several of them, I think it was around 4 or 5, appeared at MLG Dallas this past few weeks ago. So Fight is going up against a really tough opponent here. Now I'm not really sure what's going on, but Fight did do a name change called GG.FighT. Now I don't know if he's just trying to be mannered player that he is and tell every player that he has GG with his name, or if he actually joined the clan called GG, which I know is I know is fairly good. But either way, I like the name, and if you join the clan, well, good luck to you, bro. As we see here, ROOTBubba is just going around scouting the usual, making sure there's nothing weird going on, dropping his going for the 14 hatch expansion. Now this map is being played on Shakuras Plateau. This map is humongous. As you can see, there is a bunch of expansions all across the map. This map is especially very good for Zerg, mostly just because of the very big map. It makes it very easier for other players, for players such as Zerg, to expand very easily and comfortably. He does scout the spawning pool, and he is seeing the late gas coming out, but usually there is a late gas when you're going this build. So usually when there is a 14 hatch from Zerg, Terran or Protoss don't have to worry about some type of speedling build just because of the lack of minerals in the beginning, so you can't really afford very fast Zerglings. So going back to the production station, we see a Reaper going down by Fight. This Reaper is mostly just going to be used for scouting purposes, maybe try and get a few kills in or so. Dropping the mule right here, and yeah, very perfect. So I actually figured out this, well, I didn't figure it out, but I asked somebody about, I always see like people pivoting the camera, and I never knew how to do it, and I actually googled it once. I said, how do you pivot camera on StarCraft 2, and nothing came up, just other shortcuts like P and B and D and R, DR, you know, it's all these other things. But I actually did figure it out, and I hope to use it later on during this game so I could show you guys the awesomeness of the pivot. But anyways, we do have a queen going down. As you can tell right here, the production station, there is nothing but drones being popped out. A quick lair usually ultimately suggests that the Zerg is going for a very quick muta. So if Fight does actually get a chance to scout this, he will see that there is going to be a lair, and there will be mutas coming out. So we'll see how this goes. Dropping the roach horn just to be safe, to be able to handle these Reapers going down on the backside of the expansion. Hopping over. Not hopping over. Alright, they hop over. And as we're going to see here, he's going to try and get a few kills in. Gets 1 drone kill, 2 drone kills. And actually misclicks there a little bit. And as you can tell, with 2 Reapers, it only takes 2 shots to kill a drone. So 2 Reapers is actually very good. 4 Reapers actually 1 shot's a drone. So just some FYI. And as you can tell, FighT is going for the quick expansion. Quick expansion is very viable in this map for Terran just because there is a very small choke. Putting up a few siege tanks here, a few siege tanks here, as you can tell, is dropping the bunker. It allows the Terran to make it very easier to defend his natural. Simple as that. And just because the distances are so long between all the maps, or between all the main bases, it's just very hard to be able to take advantage of that. That's why it's usually very common for Zerg to be going for some sort of quick mute-up build to be able to expand around the map comfortably and keep Terran locked up inside his base. As you can tell, dropping 2 extractors, still getting the roach speed. I would like to see a creep tumor go down here so you could connect these naturals, go down a lot easier. But it all depends on the player, obviously. Different players have different strategies. He is going to be upgrading lair speed, or overlord speed. And as you can tell, FighT is going just for the normal builds, upgrading concussive shells. This overseer right here is going to get a few, some vision of FighT's base. He does see 2 reactors, he sees the tech lab, he sees the expansion of the natural, and he is just scouting around with that overseer, seeing what he could find, trying to get any intelligence from his enemy's base. And as we look back, we can see FighT going for the very quick +1 weapon build. He's going to be moving out now with a group of, I think, 5 marauders and 6 marines. Probably going to try and poke at the choke of Bubba's base and try and get some, try and see what he could do with it. Now, there is an infestation pit going down rather quickly, as opposed to the last one that I did where the Zerg didn't actually drop any freaking infestation pit. But he is going to be poking up here. I'm not sure if he could do much with his push, just the fact that he doesn't have any stent research. He's probably going to try and poke around, get the Zerg on his toes. Pretty smart thing to do. +1 is halfway done for the fight. And this army is going to get pushed back rather easily, just trying to micro it as best as he can, but you can't really expect much. Still running back, using 2 marauders already. Using all of the marines. Still getting some more kills down. More kills. Getting some last shots in. Yeah. Very nicely done. Now, FighT is just trying to get rid of this overseer roaming around. He does see that he wants, the best thing to do as playing StarCraft 2 is try and deny as much information your opponent can get from you. And that is especially plays a big role, especially when you're Terran and you're going up against Zerg. Zerg is a very reactive type of race, so usually Zerg does based on what other players do. And as you can tell right here, Bubba tried to expand, but this Reaper denied the expansion by killing the drone. You're gonna see some 4 roaches now with the roach speed. Gonna come over here and kill that Reaper, and he's dropping the expansion down again. So very nicely done. So now you see that Bubba's gonna go into the natural, probably try and attack the natural for a little bit, see if you could get some information based on the unit composition of FighT, and hopefully try and get a few kills in as well. This overseer is still roaming around, but that turret kills it. So here comes the roaches going in. These infest, they don't really do anything, they just fungal growth. These right here, but as you can see, there is no medevac available, so all of these units are just gonna die, sadly. So there is another expansion going down. He's gonna be dropping a spire. 14 roaches and 1 infestor is available, taking down the siege tank at the natural. And these infestors are all out of energy, so there's not much that he can do other than spawn infested turns. Oh, and that's what he's gonna do, respond to infested turns and help with the attack. But I would have much rather preferred to save that energy. As you can see, it's gonna be almost impossible to break this turn defense by FighT. Dropping more mules to help with the mining of the SCVs. A few more roaches coming in. +1 is already done for FighT. Upgrading +1 armor for the infantry units. Getting some more kills in, but this tank up here is just racking up the kills, seeing that he could easily move up this siege, FighT.boBo to deny any type of entry to the local. Losing one infestor and almost losing the other infestor. Oh, maybe he would lose it. Oh, he does lose the second infestor. And Zergling's trying to run in to try and get some free kills. And he does actually get some free kills. And FighT is in a very awkward position here. It seems that Bubba is trying to go for an all-in attack, trying to kill all of FighT's units, but FighT is just defending very nicely. So continuing production back at the Zerg base. Well, that was weird. And going for Mutalisks. It's very rare to see in StarCraft 2 a Zerg player switch from Mutalisks as a later mid-game transition, but it was actually very common in Brood War to do it, and Bubba is a player from Brood War, so it's not that awkward to see this coming from him. As you can tell, FighT did actually scout it, dropping down the 2 turrets, but he did actually notice it a little bit too late. He's gonna lose 3 SCVs already. Try and get some more kills. Killed the Marine. That's the 3rd SCV, 4th SCV kill. Trying to pick off that Marauder, but doesn't manage to pick it off. Just trying to pick off these turrets to make FighT start a more over. And this SCV is gonna try and attack or finish this missile turret. Oh, one second from finishing actually. And very nicely done by Bubba, delaying the timing a little bit and forcing FighT's macro to slack a little bit by producing that pressure and making the SCVs stop mining. So FighT is still just macroing up, finally moving out with this build or with this unit composition, upgrading +2 Marine, infantry and armor, and upgrading +1 vehicles for the siege tanks. And those two Zerglings are gonna be able to scout and see that FighT is moving out with his unit composition. So ROOTBubba has to get ready for this impending attack. Oh my goodness, I'm burping. So here comes FighT pulling up the choke of his expansion, sieging up at the choke, and he's gonna move in with the infantry units. Gonna be able to deny any type of attack coming in. Oh, and the Mutalisks are gonna come back from the backside and be able to pick off 1, 2, 3 siege tanks, and this is gonna make FighT's army very vulnerable. I would like to see some banelings being made, please. But there is no banelings. I'm trying to take this off with just pure laying and roaches and Mutalisks, but I don't see what's happening. We need the banelings. Banelings. Oh, this army is gonna die, perish. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Banelings, there we go. Dropping 4 banelings at the. And he is dropping more infested terms to trying to help with this attack, but this attack is not gonna go that well for Bubba. He is gonna lose that expansion, and he's gonna be able to send this off. FighT could load these units up. Could load. There you go. Doesn't load them up. He realizes, alright, I did my damage. I'll just let these units here relax here for a little bit. And Bubba is in a very rough position. He's only working off of 2 expansions. As you can tell, the main is not that saturated. It's usually recommended to have 3 drones on each mineral patch. He has expanded again, but this Marine does scout it, but these things are going to take care of it. But he needs to expand again, because as we can tell, FighT did expand during this fight. He is macroing up, taking position of the middle part of the map to be able to fight off any type of advancement by Bubba. So Bubba is in a very tough predicament here. Don't you wish you could see how long this game is? I know you do. But you can't, because I'm in charge of this. I don't even know when this game's over. I saw it once, but I didn't see it the whole way through. So FighT is going to be moving out again, barely upgrading baneling speed, so that's going to be kind of crucial for Bubba, knowing that the banelings are going to be going relatively slow. So here he drops the fungal growth and ends up losing. Oh, and then the overlords are going to come and be dropping the banelings. The banelings are just going to be doing damage all